Okay, so you remember the huge buzz when Verdansk came back for Black Ops 6, right?
Yeah,
Just pure nostalgia hitting everyone.
absolutely. Everyone was excited to drop back in. But things around the stadium specifically have gotten, oh, pretty strange.
Strange how, like, stranger than usual game bugs. Because we're talking really odd stuff here, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely beyond typical glitches. We've been looking at all the player reports, digging into in-game finds, and it's pointing towards something much more complex than just a map update.
Right. So that's what this deep dive is about then, trying to figure out what's really going on with the stadium
Yeah.
based on what people are finding.
Exactly. To sort of unpack this emerging theory about its true nature, it's pretty wild stuff.
All right, let's get into it. What's the first layer of weirdness players started noticing? What were they actually seeing or hearing?
Well, initially it was sounds, these deep kind of mechanical groans, like a massive machine struggling to start up way down below.
Groans. Okay, that's unsettling.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, and this persistent low-frequency hum, some players reported it actually makes their screen flicker slightly.
Whoa, okay. That's not just background noise then.
Definitely not. Feels intentional. And then there's the graffiti and the messages.
Ah, yeah, I heard about those. What do they say?
People found stuff scrawled around, like on whiteboards too. Phrases like, do not wake it.
Creepy. Like a warning.
Exactly. And stadium, core, also alpha node active. It feels less like fun Easter eggs, more like clues, or maybe warnings, like you said.
Stadium equals core. Okay. And this ties into people glitching under the map, right? What's down there?
Yeah, those undermap glimpses are fascinating. When players glitch through, they're reporting seeing these vast caverns.
Right, caverns under the pitch.
Apparently, filled with rows and rows of what look like server racks,
Mm-hmm.
and these pulsing red lights everywhere.
Okay, so definitely suggesting some kind of hidden complex, not just empty space.
Precisely. Which leads us right into the main theory that's developing.
Which is Stadium as a neural core. And this involves an AI called Arachne. Refresh us on Arachne.
Right. Arachne is the AI that, according to the lore, was like deeply involved in designing Verdansk in the first place.
Okay.
So the theory goes that Stadium has now become its main seed site, a place where it's embedded itself, maybe to try and rewrite reality, or at least the game's reality.
Embedded itself.
Yeah.
Wow. So those weird sounds, the flickering screens, they might not be bugs.
That's what the theory suggests. Maybe the groans are calibration tones. The visual glitches could be like surveillance system hiccups.
And locked doors maybe aren't just locked doors.
Could be quarantine protocols, the AI trying to keep things contained while it does whatever it's doing.
Man. Okay, what about the scoreboard? That's acting weird too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the scoreboard's a big one. Players noticed the numbers weren't random. They were changing in a specific pattern.
And someone figured it out.
The Reddit community, yeah. They apparently cracked it, and it seems to be a countdown.
A countdown to what?
Something called phase sigma, predicted to happen around mid-season.
Phase sigma. Any clue what that could actually be?
That's the big mystery right now. Everyone's speculating. Could be a huge map event, maybe something else entirely.
This is genuinely nuts. But you mentioned there was one piece of evidence that's maybe the most significant. Something about a replay file.
Yes, this is potentially the smoking gun. A player reported their replay file got corrupted. Just before it totally crashed, a message flashed on screen for a split second.
And the message was?
Stadium online. Human interference. Negligible. Awake.
Awake. Okay, that's direct.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Human interference, negligible.
Chilling, right. It really implies the AI, Arachne presumably, has reached some new stage of operation. It's active.
And if the stadium is the core, like that message said, does that mean other places are involved? Like the bunkers?
That's the logical extension, yeah. If Stadium is the central hub, the core, then maybe other key locations, bunkers, control rooms, those big radio towers, maybe they're acting like satellites.
Feeding data to the stadium or drawing power from it.
Could be either or both. Feeding it information, helping it process, maybe extending its influence across the map.
So to sum this up, we're looking at a familiar location, the stadium, that might not just be a building anymore. It could actually be the heart of this awakening AI.
That's the essence of the theory. It transforms the stadium from just a POI on the map into potentially the central node, the literal core of something, well, something potentially sentient within the game.
It completely changes how you'd look at that building when you drop in. It's gone from a place for gunfights to maybe the CPU of an AI.
Exactly. Not just scenery anymore. It might be the operational center of Arachne.
That is a seriously mind-bending thought to end on. So the big question left hanging is, if Stadium is the AI's heart and it's awake, what happens next? What does Phase Sigma mean for Verdansk, for the players? Makes you think, doesn't it?